Hello everyone, Ollie here from 𝙬𝕬𝕗, and I'm here with NerdTube.
Hello people of the internet.
Last night, if you didn't check out our YouTube community tab post on YouTube or our Instagram story, if you're following us on Instagram, I posted on the story and on YouTube that we were going to go watch Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, the new MonsterVerse film. Obviously, just as this is going to be set after the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, although I don't know how far. I don't know if it's just after, or do you know, or not?
Yeah, I think it is after the GVK film.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly state how long, because
How far apart they're
yeah,
set.
yeah.
So we're going to explain our thoughts separately on the MonsterVerse so far. So that includes Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and of course Godzilla vs. Kong. And then obviously, hopefully by the end of this review, we'll probably share our ranking of all films so far, because I guarantee there's going to be more after after this one, because you know what Hollywood's like. So I'm gonna, is it alright if I let you share your thoughts first?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, I'm gonna hand it over to NerdTube and see what his thoughts are on the MonsterVerse so far.
Right, now for me, it's been a bit up and down slightly, because like at the very beginning, when I was very young, I actually wanted to watch the 2014 Godzilla film, and I did enjoy watching that as a kid. I would watch it too many times, like it would be on somewhere in the house. But over time, as I grew older, as I got into film, I started to take notes, like average this film is for me, because it has a lot of great Godzilla stuff and all that, and a lot of great scale. And the director of the film is quite talented, because I have seen Rogue One, of course. And
I would agree.
definitely. And it does have some decent cinematography, interesting cast, and especially Pietro and Wanda in this. For fuck's sake. I'm not going to get into that, because it just makes me feel uncomfortable with the thought of it.
By the way, guys, editing on here, by the way. The reason why NerdTube is getting a bit worked up by it is because Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen play a husband and wife characters in Godzilla, whereas in the MCU they also play brother and sister, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, so you can kind of piece that together.
Yeah, I thought that the characters there, their characters, just was not interesting enough to pay attention to. But the only decent characters I could tell were the Asian scientist person from Monarch and Walter White. And those were the only interesting characters that I could get engaged with. And then there's Skull Island, which I thought was slightly better, but plot felt a bit mid. Again, average, but the characters were still a bit enjoyable. There was some lore in the Kong film, like some history, adds his own history. And then there's King of the Monsters, which, well, I would have said it was the same level as Skull Island for me. That's just my opinion. It does have some decent characters, but then I wondered where the Brody family has been gone. And apparently that's been delved down to two things. The characters, and I think there was another reason which I'm gonna have to find out later. Although I do miss them, I do like the new characters. It does try to make it a lot more closer to the original Godzilla source material. I do allow the Godzilla theme into this, like quite literally, by what's his name, who does the score. And then there is King Ghidorah, which does feel like a genuine threat. Again, there is some lore in the film. And then there's GXK, which is basically BVS, but with lizard and monkey having a tap down. And then, like, the characters started to get a bit boring again, which put me off a bit. But there was some decent Titan on Titan action. Don't get pissed off with that. And then, like, yeah, what does surprise me, that it does still follow the same tradition as BVS. So, like, two dudes fighting against each other for somewhat reason, because they don't like each other. And then at the third act, they'll just face an even bigger threat. So, like, there's a Family Guy reference called Bigger Jaws, which I find is quite accurate to both BVS and GXK. No, not GXK, GVK.
Stop eating our boat, Jaws.
Rrr, I'm gonna eat your boat.
and then I'm gonna eat you guys. Rawr! Oh my God, what's that? It's bigger Jaws. Oh my God, now we have a common enemy. We have to work together.
And then I did find it was quite fun, but the plot was alright, but the human characters were a bit boring. Like in the first Godzilla film in 2014, well, except Bryan Cranston, that he's the only good character in that 2014 film, the most interesting one. But I do wish he stuck around, because he would have been like a very important character. And if the Brody family did have a lot more like going on, instead of just walking about like just dossing about, then I think they would have probably made an appearance in the rest of the MonsterVerse films. But I am excited for this one. I have heard that from a friend that apparently I might not like this one, that is shit, and that worries me. But I am looking for a film that does involve more monsters, that does involve some lore, and I am looking for some pretty good Titan action.
Yeah, all I would say is anyone who wants to go watch this, go in with an open mind and don't rely on anyone else's opinion. Just base it on your own thing. So.
Yeah, because like I think I have stated this before, that sometimes I like to go both the filmmaker's view and the audience view all in once, so that I don't have like a biased opinion. I am excited to see this, and I'm going to pass the mic to Ollie.
Okay, so my thoughts on the MonsterVerse films so far. The first Godzilla, made in 2014. Unlike NerdTube, growing up I heard about it. I wasn't interested. I was interested in much younger stuff. I wasn't more interested in the action stuff. I liked animated stuff, SpongeBob and all that. So, you know, but recently I've come to watch all these franchise kind of films, and I just came across the MonsterVerse, and I was like, you know what? I was going to watch Godzilla vs. Kong in the cinema, but I don't know what happened, but I just ended up not going to watch it. But obviously that was when the pandemic struck, so it was a bit so I didn't watch it in the cinema. But when I watched the first Godzilla film, I enjoyed it. It was okay. It wasn't like amazing. Now I will say, for all of these films, even the ones that I would say are my favourite two, I would say you need to kind of go into these films. These are schlocky films. They aren't like to be taken too seriously. You go into them for a bit of fun, a bit of a laugh, depending on what type of sense of humour you have. Sometimes I find it a bit cringe, but you know, that's the kind of film that it's aiming to be kind of family friendly. You know, it's not rated R or 15 or 18 film. So you know, you gotta take in the film that they're trying to make, or the films they're trying to make. Sorry. So yeah, I think the 2014 film with obviously Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Walter White, what's his name? Bryan Cranston, yeah, Bryan Cranston. Yeah, I thought they were okay. They were good. Yeah, I thought Bryan Cranston was probably the standout in that film. And then got a Kong Skull Island, which is personally so far my favourite. I just really like. I prefer Kong more than Godzilla personally. That's obviously just my opinion. And I just really like, other than the humour, which I found a bit like meh, a bit hit or miss. I thought I really like the atmosphere of the film. The tone again is a bit all over the place. One part's trying to be too serious, and one part's being a bit too fun. But you know, I've got to take it in for what it is. So yeah, that's my favourite so far. And then I watched because actually last night, or sorry, yesterday, Nerdy put in the chat with me, him and Rusty. We have a chat on Instagram, and he was saying, "Oh, do you guys want to go watch Godzilla X Kong? I'm going to go watch it on Wednesday." So I was like, you know, let's go watch it. So me and Nerdy decided to go watch it together today. So I just said, what I was going to get to is that I'd only, up to yesterday, I'd watched the first Godzilla and Kong Skull Island, and I hadn't watched King of the Monsters or Godzilla vs. Kong. So I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters last night, or actually yesterday afternoon, and it was much better. I thought it was better than the first Godzilla film. Not better than Kong Skull Island, but we'll get to the ranking at the end of the video of all films so far. And I thought it was good. I liked how they introduced all the different monsters. Obviously Monster Zero with the three-headed monster dragon kind of thing. And then you got Mothra as well. And then also that fire one, there's like a lava one as well. I can't remember what that's called. But yeah, that was fun. That was a good one. Obviously that had Millie Bobby Brown, who was in Stranger Things. You got Vera Farmiga, who plays her mum, because she's part of the she works with Monarch. And then you got the dad. I've forgotten his name, the actor's name, but the dad as well. I thought he's okay. And then you had, of course, the Asian guy back again, the doctor or professor. But yeah, I thought it was good overall. But yeah, I won't get too much into it. And then obviously, last night I started watching Godzilla vs Kong, and then finished it this afternoon, and I thought it was quite fun. I was kind of competing it against Kong, because I really do like Kong in these films. I really like the fact that in Godzilla vs Kong there's a girl that can basically communicate with him, and obviously the other people can't, because she's deaf, I believe. She's deaf, so she has, so that she was able to communicate with him, so that the other people on the team, I forgot what they're called now, but the people on that team were able to understand what he was trying to do by having her as a translator. Yeah, that was quite fun, watching that film. But I still would say Kong Skull Island is my favourite. So yeah, that's kind of my view on the MonsterVerse so far, and hopefully this one is as good as Godzilla vs Kong, but we'll see. We're both excited for this film, and hopefully we'll at least come out with a whole lot of fun. I'm not expecting this to be Oscar worthy, but I'm hoping this is going to be at least fun and hopefully a good time, so, and hopefully worth the money. So yeah, that's my views on the MonsterVerse film so far. Alright guys, just realised that we're kind of running late now, so this went on for a bit of a while, so we're going to head in now and hopefully have a good time. So yeah, we'll see you on the other side.
Sayonara.
Right, I need to go pee. Do you need to go pee?
I don't need to go.
Okay, well, I need to go, and then we'll share our thoughts. Okay, so I've just gone to the toilet, and, you know, Nertube was just out, and, yeah, so, you want to go first? Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Yeah, I think I do need to go first, because I do need to head to the U4 as well.
Okay, right, I'll let Nertube go first, and then I'll try and be quick with mine. So you probably have more to say than I would. I don't know. Probably. We'll see. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to hand over to Nertube first.
Right, now, I did actually have a lot of fun with this film, more than I anticipated or heard from. Now, there are a few unanswered questions in this film, which I can understand, which I might do in another time. But overall, I did think this was a fun film. The opening was great. It showed that how he has improved from how he survived in the Hollow Earth. It showed his increase of intelligence and his depression from not being able to find others like him. And it also managed to show and give us visual information of Godzilla on the surface world, and how the Hollow Earth is Kong's territory. And I did actually enjoy watching Zuko in the film. I'm pretty sure the Diddy Kong.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought he was great. I thought Scar King, the antagonist of the film, did actually have personality, unlike 99% of the monster films antagonists so far. I thought he was great. He did feel like a threat, but I do wish there was more on his backstory than just like saying, oh, he's the ultimate fucking bad guy and all this. But like, yeah, I still enjoyed him. I actually liked his intimidating presence, both visually and like in combat. It showed like a mirror image to like Kong, and was sort of like the tyrant of the film, which I actually did like. And then Godzilla. Now, I could actually see that he was trying to make himself stronger. We didn't have to get into too much. They just showed us and they told us that he was trying to grow stronger to defeat Scar King. And it did progress the film slowly. I liked how there were more of the Titans, or the Kaiju, or whatever the Godzilla fans call them now these days. And there were some unanswered questions that I was concerned with. Like, why does Scar King want to take over the surface world? Does he want to expand his empire? Is he doing it to gain more power? Is he after something? Questions like these do spin around in my head after a while. And why is this Iwi tribe girl the only one who can summon Mothra? How is Mothra able to come back? I don't want to get into any more questions because I don't want to ruin this film for any of you or myself. So I'm going to shut up about that part. But overall, I had a fun time. I thought it was great. It is a good film. 7 out of 10 for me.
Is that everything, or?
That's everything.
Okay, cool. Okay, so, yeah, I actually had a lot of fun with this as well. I was contemplating if I had more fun with this than the first Godzilla and Kong film, Godzilla vs. Kong. And right now, I'd say, yeah, I did. I did have more fun with this Godzilla X Kong rather than Godzilla vs. Kong. There was a lot more world building, everything. I thought, I did think that, I feel like Godzilla wasn't in it enough, personally, considering it's called Godzilla X Kong. Because this felt more, now to me, if, obviously earlier on in the video I said that Kong Skull Island is my favourite so far, and still is, of all these films. But the thing is, I really liked the amount of stuff that they showed about Kong, but I do feel like, because obviously it's called Godzilla X Kong, I do feel like they should have showed more about Godzilla, because he was there at the beginning, sprinkled throughout the middle, but not enough, I don't think, and also at the very end, the final battle at the end, which I won't get into too much detail. But yeah, other than that, I'd say that's kind of a negative, maybe a mixed, I don't know, take with that what you will. I don't really know yet if I'd say that as a mixed aspect or a negative aspect, but the fact that it is called Godzilla X Kong, I feel like there should have been more Godzilla in there. But in terms of positives, I will say that the action's quite fun. There are some fun moments, some funny moments, like I may have briefly mentioned at the start. I can't remember if I did or not, but the comical stuff throughout the other films, especially the later ones like Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla King of Monsters, I felt a little bit too cringy to me. It's too comical for me, but some of it in this film I found kind of funny. Especially the new white British guy, the guy that I won't get into too much detail. Yeah, there's a new character in there that is basically funny. He's funny in a couple parts, but other parts he's a bit. I will recommend this film to anyone who likes the MonsterVerse films and is curious about this film, because if you, for example, if you didn't like Godzilla vs. Kong and you're like a bit about it, I'd say give it a go if you didn't like it, because this might be more fun for you. But if you did like Godzilla vs. Kong, I would definitely say if you enjoyed that and you want more, there's definitely more to be had here. But I will say, if you are more of a Godzilla fan than a Kong fan, you might be a bit disappointed with the amount of Godzilla stuff there is in this film. But if you are a Kong fan, you'll probably be a lot more happy with this. Yeah, so all in all, I had a really fun time. Despite Godzilla not being in it that much. I shouldn't really be bragging on about that too much, because I do prefer Kong over Godzilla, but if I have to be fair, I will say that Godzilla should have been in it more. They should have been in it both together equally, as it is a duo film. But when Godzilla and Kong are together, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, but that's obviously at the final act of the film, which is a bit of a bummer for some people that were expecting more of them to be together, but it's just mainly at the very end when they get together. But yeah, aside from Godzilla not being in it too much, and some of the humour was a bit for me, but that's obviously just a personal thing really, because my sense of humour is probably different to yours. But aside from those two gripes, I had a really good time. That might change over time when I rewatch it on Blu-ray or whenever I rewatch it, because I don't think I'm going to rewatch it in the cinema. I don't usually go watch a film in the cinema twice unless I really, really, really liked it. So I'm going to give this film I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, so that's a 4-star 8 out of 10. Yeah, as I've already said, had a really, really good time with this, and again, if you enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong, sure there's more to be had with this, And yeah, you may, if you enjoyed Godzilla vs Kong, you'll most likely have more fun with this one. But again, go watch it yourself to, you know. I don't want to obviously say this will be more fun and you go watch it, but it's not actually. So go watch it yourself. I would say go watch it, give it a chance. That's my view on Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Alright guys, unfortunately that's all we have time for because NerdTube has to catch a bus home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not going to leave him hanging now. So, we've done our parts now, and it's a shame, Rusty, you didn't come. I know you said you weren't that bothered about coming to the cinema, but I think you would have had a really good time. But anyway, maybe that was by choice. I don't know if you were able to or not, but I still think it would have been awesome if you came with us. But anyway, I would recommend it to you, Rusty, anyway, as you weren't here, like when it comes on Blu-ray or streaming or whenever. So if you're not rushing to watch it, then just wait for it when it comes on Netflix or whatever, which will probably be in about 4 years. But yeah, so that's going to be it for us today. Hope you enjoyed our thoughts, before thoughts and after thoughts on Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, and let us know what you guys think of this film as well in the comments below. But yeah, that's it. This is Ollie NerdTube out.
Sayonara.
Cheers.